In this podcast, I'm joined by Mike and JJ Dukart, and we're talking about brand new products from the Illusion Systems line. We break down the brand new Extinguisher 2.0, the Black Rack Silencer, a new phase product, and a brand new line within Illusion Systems, the Skullmaster.
The Deer Society podcast is brought to you by Illusion Hunting Systems, Onyx Hunt, Reveal Cellular Cameras, 10-Point Crossbows, Prime Archery, Loophole Optics, G5 Broadheads, Osseo Gear, Raw Frozen Scents, and HHA.
Well, today is an exciting day because we are talking about some brand new products from the Illusion line. You guys just got back from ATA, where you launched a handful of new products across the board. There's some stuff out here, if you guys are watching, that nobody's really ever seen before. Some new versions from the Extinguisher 2.0 to some additions to the phase line and a brand new kind of line within the Illusion Systems brand, the Skullmaster. So without further ado, Mike, I'm going to throw it to you. You know, what is new with the whole Illusion Systems brand this year?
Well, there's a lot of new things with Illusion brand, and we're, excitingly looking to add more as we grow here. Things are going well with the company. We just getting a lot of positive response with our products, and actually they're working in the field. So one of the things that we had an opportunity to take advantage of is the new Skullmaster. So people are becoming successful. They're getting big into the shed hunting and things like that. And so we're going to offer a bunch of products from a whole different line that has to do with that, for mounting sheds, for mounting your trophies. And it's really cool. And I'll let JJ kind of handle most of that because he's a big part of the development of that process. But on the Extinguisher side, I've been working on and thinking about creating a new call for a number of years, but this call is the original Extinguisher has just been so effective for so long. We didn't really want to, dilute the market with something that was unnecessary. So the tool wore out. Well, now I got to make a different call. So instead of going crazy and redeveloping the call completely, what we did is we just made some we made some little different nuances to it to make it more effective and just to make it easier to use. So some of the things that we've changed, and this is it. This is the new Extinguisher 2.0. So if you're watching this, it comes in a gunmetal gray, so you'll be able to identify it. What we've done is we've improved the read so that you're getting a little bit deeper, a little bit more pop to your grunts, okay? Now, by doing that, we lost a little bit of the high pitch on the fawn, but knowing what we do when interacting as a fawn, it had zero impact. So you don't have quite as the high end of the fawn, but you have a much better guttural grunt, which people were kind of asking for. The volume is a touch louder, and you got to be super careful there, because with all my studies and studying deer, what I noticed is the volume in a deer call is probably the most important piece of the whole game. If you're too loud and you're too aggressive, yeah, you'll get the attention of a deer, but they'll just fade off on you. Basically, you're screaming and yelling. So you have to have those natural tones and those natural volumes. So we did pick up the volume a touch, and as part of that, with the tones and the changes in the sound, we've also made it more responsive. And that's the biggest feedback that I've been seeing on social media is like, wow, this new call, it takes so little air to get it working. And it sounds great, better than my other one. I love it. It was time to replace my other one anyway. But of course, they're not throwing away their other one either. They got to keep that original as well. So those are some of the main things. Now, another thing is the slide. So the slide would get a little sticky sometimes when it's going in and out of a backpack, getting dust, getting debris, whatever. And so the slide could stick if it got cold. And rather than have to deal with cleaning that out and everything, we made it so the slide is much easier to use. But we also put like a finger indent grip in there. So most people are using their thumb or their forefinger, and it's just really easy to grab it with gloves, where the other one had kind of a convex, in other words, it kind of went up. This one is a concave, so you actually have a finger grip. So when you got those gloves on, it's really easy to slide it up and down, and that was another great improvement. And then finally, the tube. So the tube we redesigned a little bit. We made it a little bit easier to deal with, and give it, just a shade, in my opinion, a shade better natural tone to it. So I'll demonstrate this thing. So if you slide that all the way up into your fawn position. So there's your fawn position. It's very responsive. I'm putting very little air into it. I'll slide her down to doe. Right down to that buck. You can hear that little bit more guttural sound to it. It's got a little more pop to it, and it's got just a hair more volume, but you got better control. So you can get it more quiet, and you can get it louder. So that's it for the Extinguisher 2.0. If you're an Extinguisher fan, you own one in the past, it's time to upgrade. This thing is phenomenal. We're really having a tough time keeping up with them, but with this new tool and with these new advantages, it's going to be a monster.
I love the gunmetal gray too. Just a kind of next level slick look of that call. Looks awesome. So are all the new Extinguisher 2.0s, they're going to be that gunmetal gray?
That's correct. Well, not all of them. We came out with a new version with the
mossy oak bottomland. So if you're watching the podcast, you can see here everything Illusion has a new branding to it as well. So more of a black and white, two-tone packaging, some yellow accents, but you'll see these products in here. The mossy oak bottomland Extinguisher 2.0 looks really, really sharp. It's kind of that throwback that everybody wants right now. So
yeah,
it looks really good.
Cool factor for sure.
And then, yeah, it's gunmetal gray, but we call it Illusion gray on the packaging. So it's the Illusion gray, same as gunmetal gray. And those are the two options. But yeah, pretty slick. We got a little bit deeper lanyard groove in the top too. Kind of keep that lanyard from popping up quite as easily. And then the tube, it's a one-piece tube, rubber tube that actually snaps on now. So it's not glued on or anything like that. So it stays on a little bit better as well. So again, it's a 2.0 kind of refresh, revise. It's not a full-on completely different call, but it's just improvements all across the board on that Extinguisher. So look for it in stores this summer, really, is when it's going to be hitting. All these products we'll talk about today will be getting in throughout the coming months, but springtime here, summer, and that's when you'll see the new packaging and the new products really hit the shelf.
Yeah, Extinguisher 2.0, get excited about that. If you've experienced the Extinguisher before, you know what they're talking about. And I know you've been working on it for a long time, and it's been a challenge. How do you make the best thing that works better? And you can hear it. I mean, just being around it and hearing those slight changes in sound, it's impressive, and the look is just next level too. So really, really cool. Extinguisher 2.0, check that out. Moving past that, let's go right to the black rack. So the black rack has been a super effective tool across the board. And, I think one of the things that makes it even that much better now is the black rack silencer, which is not necessarily a brand new product, but a fairly new product here that makes that black rack just way more efficient, especially getting it in and out of the woods and multi-use. So JJ, do you want to talk about black rack silencer?
Yeah, so the black rack silencer, we kind of had that soft launch here this fall where we ordered, a small batch of these. We actually sold through all of those. So we're out of stock currently on this product. Should be getting more here in the next month or two. And that's perfect timing for shed season too. So we took some photos this morning actually with some sheds hanging from it. You can clip it on your backpack, whether you're carrying your black rack. If you're watching, you'll see I can shake the rack, dangle it from the black rack silencer, and there's absolutely no sound to it. So it's just dead quiet. It's a 4-point of contact, kind of a bungee paracord system. It's got a nice clip loop on it. It's black, matches the product, looks slick. Yeah, it could be used for the black rack. You could, if you choose to rattle with antlers, it can hold antlers, take it shed hunting. It's got 4 loops for sheds. But yeah, it's just a nice slick product and something we'll be pushing a lot more here this season as we get this new batch in and move forward with the real launch of the product. So
Yeah, when they developed that, I looked at it and, whenever we put a new product into the line, there's a lot of analyzing, a lot of use to make sure it works, make sure that it solves a problem, that it's worthwhile. And so they gave me one at whatever. I'll put it on my black rack. I didn't feel like I needed it. But after I used it this season, it's like, wow, that product, it surprised me how efficient and what a great addition to the black rack it really is. I won't go without it now, ever. And like JJ said, for shed hunting, you just unsnap that little loop. You can actually hang it up in your tree. You can hang it on your belt loop or your backpack or whatever. And, yeah, it's a great product.
For sure.
And obviously the people figure that out too, because we sold out quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it is super awesome to have that. You don't know. It's one of those things. It's like you don't know you need it until you use it, and then you can't go without it.
And you're like, once you get it, you can't go without it, right?
Yeah. That'd be awesome for shed hunting this year, putting it to the test there, and really great way to carry sheds, whether it's on your backpack or just throw it on your belt loop with that clip. That's pretty cool and definitely an efficient way to carry them. So black rack silencer, something new. If you haven't seen that yet, check that out. Moving past that, let's talk about phase. What's new? Anything new from the phase side of things this year?
yeah, so the phase is staying pretty much the same. We got one addition, and it's just we're adding a conditioner to the line. So we've had the phase for her lineup in the past, which had that added conditioner. Actually, a lot of guys were just using that as well for their hair, beards, things like that. So we're gonna move that product into the phase line, discontinue phase for her, and just have pretty much everything phase under one brand, which is just the phase brand. So it didn't really make sense for us to continue two different products that were identical, from body washes to the shampoos and conditioners and stuff. So just keeping it simple, everything that we love is now in one package, and adding that conditioner that not only the women love for their hair, but also some of the guys are using as well too. So not much for changes on phase, but just a little improvement there.
Yeah, and then also on the phases, like you said, we did have the crossover. We thought, well, if we have the conditioner for the women, it'd be more to them. But we realized that the guys like the conditioner too. So it's like JJ said, let's just do it all in one packet. One other little improvement that we made is the phase foam. So the phase foam, if you have some for a number of years, we've improved the shelf life on that. So it did have a shelf life. Once you get bacteria into a product, it can make it less affected. So we've improved it so that the range of bacteria ability to build up in that liquid is pretty much, it'll totally be gone. So anyway, if you're sitting on an old thing of phase, refresh it with a new bottle of the phase foamer. All the other products, they've been dialed in forever as far as that part goes, but the foamer. And the reason we did that is because we're actually working on trying to get some wipes to the market. And so that's where we really identified that particular issue with that specific liquid, because it has to do with where your water comes from, how you're storing it, things like that. Not so much with your thicker type liquids, but with the phase foamer, we've made it even better yet and longer lasting. I mean, it never was an issue for me, because I go through a bottle of foamer every year, and actually even more. So, but yeah, that's another great improvement on the foamer too.
Right on. I just want to throw a disclaimer out there on the phase conditioner. Don't worry, Mike was not the one testing the conditioner. we actually had people with hair testing the conditioner. So rest assured, it's a great product, and it did not make Mike lose all his hair. So we're good there.
But just so you know, I use phase body wash every single day, and I have since we've gotten it. And that's been what? It's been years and years and years and years. So I use that product every single day. So I just love that body wash. That's just my go-to.
Awesome. Well, that kind of, I think, wraps up what you guys are familiar with from an Illusion standpoint in past. Obviously update to the Extinguisher, Black Rack Silencer, phase, all those things continuing to just raise the bar a little more, which is super exciting. Effective tools that have been proven over time and just getting better. Something that's brand new that you guys are not familiar with from the Illusion line of things is the Skullmaster. And this is super exciting. some really cool products here and something that's totally different that I think is going to be a big hit this year. So I don't know who wants to start, Mike or JJ, but let's dive into what is the Skullmaster?
Yeah, so we got a whole new category under Illusion, and that'd be this DIY taxidermy is what we call it. One quick note before we get there, another category we still have is the food plot systems. There's not any changes there. So the seed blends, the fertilizers, the systems, all the same as in the past. So all great, 3 great systems there too. So
On that topic, I just want to say that we're getting all kinds of people sending us pictures and telling us the story that, hey, we had a drought year. I planted this brand, and I'm not going to compare brands, but it's a very popular brand. And I planted your system, and it just exploded. Look, and they send a picture. The one is pretty much bare dirt, dead, and ours blew up in that drought condition. And this is happening all over. It has to do with that system. It's extremely effective. And we harvested, well, I know 2 of the deer on the Whitetails from Scratch farm we had them patterned, but we don't want to get too much into that strategy. We've talked about that a lot, but there is a significant difference between our food plot systems and what's out on the market for food plots. It's there, it's happening, and it's real.
yeah, and we'll cover some of that coming into spring planting season. More tactic related, but yeah, that's all 3 of those main core food plot systems are the same for this year. So heading into the Skullmaster, this is a whole brand that was formerly known as Mountain Mike's Reproductions. So we had an opportunity to kind of take that in under the Illusion brand. Liked a lot of the products, so there's a good foundation built there. And then we just thought of ways that we could improve different products, give them different looks, new packaging, video demos, instructional. So just kind of refreshing that entire category from turkey, deer, and elk, DIY taxidermy, and brought it in under this new Illusion brand, which looks a little bit different now as far as packaging goes across the board for not only the Extinguisher, Black Rack, Phase, but that kind of carries over into this new Skullmaster look. So if you're watching us here, you got the Skullmaster system, and the core product for this is a deer European mount, and I'm going to grab the actual skull rack here under the table, and that's what this looks like. So this is the core product. It's a white European skull. You attach antlers to it, whether they're sheds or a buck you harvest, you can cut the rack off, and it looks like European mount for a fraction of the cost. So yeah, it's a great looking product, and some of the improvements that we're making to this, we're actually sold out of white completely already this year. So heading into the spring, we'll begin all the inventory. But we got some really cool colors for this Skullmaster system from Mossy Oak Bottomlands. We got a Real Tree AP Snow.
That I love that. That is going to be a hot one, along with that mossy oak. But that snow camel is just gorgeous. It's kind of a nice. It's got that white skull feel to it, but it's just got a real cool ergonomic look to it. Very classy.
Yeah, and that's actually the most popular dip on real European skulls after doing some research from talking to different decorators and suppliers. Their dip, when people come in and request a dip on their real skulls, it's number 1 is always that white snow camo.
Which pattern is that? Is
it's a Real Tree AP Snow.
Yeah, I thought it was, because we looked at all the different snow patterns out there, and the Real Tree one just popped. It had the best. And so we're happy to partner with them, along with that retro mossy oak. That's a hot look as well. So we're happy to partner with them as well. Great to have those types of partnerships within the industry.
Yep. And then some of the products that we brought along for the new refresh is the natural causes, which kind of that deadhead look. You find a dead deer out in the field. If that skull is damaged and you want to kind of redo that look and get that feel, that's the natural causes. One cool thing about these Skullmasters is we include 3 different skull plates with the product. So you get a small, a medium, and a large. So whether you find small antlers or shoot a smaller buck or shoot a bigger buck, every antler size will fit on the system. Those different skull plates are packaged with the box.
And what he means by that, it's not so much, the small, medium, large. We were going to just name it 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C, because we don't want to really attribute it to the size of the deer antlers. It's about the base and the pedicle look. So you just want that kind of realistic look of the base of the antler on top of the skull, because it should be larger, but there's kind of a ratio, and really that's all it is. It has nothing to do with the inches of the antler or anything like that. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it has to do with the base. So, quote, small would be under 3-inch base of the antler. Medium is 3 to 5, and then large is anything over 5. That doesn't really have anything to do with score, like you said, but just that base circumference, and all 3 plates are included. And then the last of the 5 launch colors is this respect flag, which is kind of just a really cool. How would you describe that?
Well, it's really cool because I looked at it and I'm like, I'm not too sure about that. It's different. It's not, a skull. And then when I shot Little Splitter, we had him mounted, and then we put his sheds. I think his 3-year-old sheds on there. And I was just blown away on how beautiful that looked. I mean, decoration-wise, decor, it was gorgeous. And I just love that.
I'll say something about that respect flag one. When I look at that product, when I first saw it, I'm like, gosh, my style is more clean looking, like I like the white, I look the not so complicated, just like clean looking feel. And then when you get a rack on there, and I don't know if it was Little Splitter who it was, but we put it up there and, and it got it on the wall. It's like, man, that looks really good.
It really did.
It grew on me a lot.
Oh,
with you.
Yeah, it stuck out. And it had just a real... just a real rich look to it. It was very classy.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Wasn't gaudy at all.
Not cheap or gaudy looking.
No.
Yeah, it looks really good.
And let me make a comment about the white. I mean, we sell out of the white real quick because it's the original look to a European skull. But we were out, we were at the taxidermist yesterday or the day before, showed him the stuff, and he's an old school guy, and he just fell in love with them. I mean, he loved them, and he wanted, hey, you got white, because he is very artistic. So he'll repair like broken tines and things like that. So what he wanted to do was put his own look of a natural skull, and he wanted to paint it and fix it up that way. So that was kind of cool too. So if you're an artistic person and you want to be creative with your own skull and paint them on a blank canvas, the white one's great for that too.
Yeah, he said, you got any white ones? I'll just buy them on site here if you got any, but we didn't have any in stock. So we'll come back to him. But yeah, he wants to airbrush it and do some artwork on it and stuff like that. So that's a good idea. But one thing we didn't touch on, these are a good cost-effective way to mount a deer to or sheds.
Yeah.
So $49.97 is the map price on this white Skullmaster with 3 different plates. $59.97 is for any of the dips and colors. So compared to the actual cost of sending it to taxidermist or getting it dipped for an additional $75, you get the whole system for under that.
Yeah. And very easy to do. If you've ever actually done your own European skull, oh my goodness, you'll never do it again. It's not an easy project to do.
But we'll walk through the instructional part of all these products. That's kind of our spring project here is, creating videos that the QR codes on the packaging people can scan in, watch step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the case may be on the product. Just to simplify how to do it, give people an understanding, just a quick instructional video. So you'll have all the instructions needed to do that process on your own.
Let me add one more point to the Skullmaster, and another good reason to utilize it is transporting deer from state to state and dealing with the CWD and those types of regulations. That's a real thing. And so we have not only the Skullmaster, so you don't have to transport the head, you could actually take the antler off, or you can take it off at the skull cap. So now you're not, transporting any kind of brain matter or anything like that. And you can keep the integrity of the score of the animal as well, because it's on the skull, and we have a product designed around that as well. And JJ can touch on that later if he needs to.
Yeah, and I'll just quick wrap up Skullmaster on the deer side, and then we can move on. I don't know where it's at, but we have one called the Record Keeper.
Is it?
Probably right here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, and the concept here, and this is the same. I'll show you the elk ones here in a second, but the concept with the record keeper Skullmaster is that you can attach the plate of a deer, the skull plate, keep that official score, if that's something that's
Meaningful.
And then it comes with epoxy putty and paint, so you can kind of, match in that whole skull plate to the product too. So that one just comes in white. There's no sizing to that because you're using your skull plate from the deer, and it's called the record keeper. So that's a pretty cool option too if you want to keep the score and keep the plate. And then a couple nice little complementary products for the Skullmaster. We have a nice 360 ball joint mounted European skull hook that works on real skull or the Skullmaster, and then a standard positioner which kind of just goes up and down, just a real workhorse like heavy duty bracket that can be used for either as well. It's called the deer positioner, so a nice up and down, more cost effective item as well. So those are some cool hanging options. And then one more thing on this category before I hit elk real quick and some other deer products. There's this thing called the shed spreader. Cool thing about this is kind of a DIY. So if you want to do your own plaque system, or if you're into taxidermy, our taxidermist actually wanted to buy these because people bring sheds into him. They want to mount it on a form, use a cape, buy a cape, whatever the case may be, or they want to make a leather capped plaque with sheds or with the skull. You can actually use this shed spreader as your foundation, like your base. So typically, he said, if someone brings in sheds, it's kind of a real big pain for him to mount that on a form. He uses 2x4 and clay and screws, and he says it's kind of a disaster under the cape there. But this, you would just attach the antlers right into the shed spreader, zip it right into that form, and then you'd be good to go. So just a nice little additional product there too. But anything else on the Skullmaster before I hit elk?
Well, I'll just make a comment. The popularity of shed hunting is exploding. I mean, to a level I never expected. And it's not just hunters. I mean, it's like, family members that don't even hunt love to go out and walk in the spring or whatever and look for sheds. And I know my wife found a great set and she was just so excited. It's just a big deal. They get that exercise. But shed hunting is exploding. And there's even outfitters that are charging thousands of dollars to come walk the property exclusively for sheds. I mean, it's crazy. So we're ahead of that game, and we want to make sure that people can take advantage of the things, the trophies, and the things that they're finding. And I just want to bring that out.
Yep. Yeah, great for sheds. Just so many different uses for these. We have skyscraper patches, so many different years of sheds from before we shot the deer that you can display in many different ways, and the Skullmaster is a great way to do that.
Yeah, we actually have some displayed out on our walls that have 3 years of shed and the actual animal, and the look of that, and just, I don't know, there's something about it. It's just like, wow, it just adds so much more. It's like, look at they manage this deer and they let this deer go from that year to that year to that year. You can see that growth. And if you see that displayed on a wall, it almost like brings the value of what you achieved to like a whole nother level. It's weird, but if you experience it and you look at it, it is so cool.
Yeah. Couple other nice deer options in the Skullmaster line. There's this Black Forest, kind of more German style half rack Skullmaster, you'd call it, on a wood plaque, a nice pine wood backing. That's another cool option. I think that looks really slick. It's the Natural Causes, kind of a touched up deadhead looking skull. Very, very cool look. One we're excited about because it not only looks really cool, but it's such a low price point for like $25.
Yep.
This Plaque Master with the, again, mossy oak throwback vinyl, black, kind of matte finish cap. So this one is designed to mount a skull cap, or having the skull plate still attached to the antlers on your deer. Universal sizing with these 2 cap slots. It pretty much fits any size rack. So again, we'll be doing a lot of video demos, instructionals, kind of how-to videos and stuff on that. So you'll be seeing a lot of that. And again, Most of this stuff will be available here in a couple months.
Yeah, that's a very low price point, high quality type product. That's a big seller.
Then kind of just that classic rack plaque, which is going to be in a pine base and a kind of a leatherette cap, you'd call it. It's not real leather, but it's a fake leather, and just a real classic look to that.
It looks like real leather. I didn't even know it was until you just said that.
That comes with a shed spreader, so you can mount with your own plate attached to the antlers, or the shed spreader is inside, and you can mount sheds on that one too. So,
And that's solid wood. That's not some kind of compressed board or anything like that. Composite.
a lot of products here.
Yeah, a lot of products there. There was a point I wanted to make, and I can't remember what it was because there's just so much information here.
Well, I'll keep grabbing stuff as we think about it.
I'll see if I can remember it.
Yeah, I mean, with this Skullmaster line, there's so many different options out there to display your deer. Like if you don't want to spend the money and go with a full shoulder mount, like you definitely need to look at Skullmaster because there are so many options and so many customizable features within these products that really you can display your trophies any way you want to, which is the cool part about it, is the custom ability, to make it look how you want it to look.
I just remembered what I was thinking, and this is a really cool point too, because you go out into my porch and I sit out there in the afternoon and I'm looking up and I'm seeing all these old, we call them porch deer, back when I first started hunting when I was in high school and that kind of thing. And you got these, 2.5, 3.5-year-old 8-pointers, and you got grandpa's thing out there and this and that. And now's a perfect time with this type of a product to really give tribute to the history of whatever it is, your family or some of the old deer that you shot that means something to you. You can now remount all of that stuff with really good looking stuff, really easy to do, real very good price point, and you can give tribute to all the old school stuff. So that's something to really think about.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of opportunities there. And everybody, if you're watching, you're wondering, what are these giant white things on the table? This is an elk Skullmaster.
Oh, I thought that was the site of the deer that you shot.
This is an Andre. No, I'm just kidding. Elk Skullmaster looks like a giant cow or horse skull. Like, this thing is massive. But there are a lot of people, including us, we have some elk sheds that we want to mount. So we're going to be doing some projects here this spring, mounting these up again, creating those videos to kind of show people how everything's done on a real high level, keep it real clean and simple, and just another great way to display elk sheds or the elk record keeper, which again, you can use the plate from the elk that you shoot, the bull. Screw it on there. It comes with epoxy putty, so you can do all kind of that work up top, blend it in, paint it white. It comes with that matching white paint, and if you got sheds or an elk that you cut the rack off or whatever the case may be, or trying to save on, I don't know how much an elk shoulder mount would cost, but it's pretty expensive, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, I know I travel a lot, and so when I go out west, you're seeing big elk sheds and European type mount plastered on the top of garages everywhere. I mean, so this would be a great, and it's going to be, weather resistant. It's, because it's a different type of material, so it's not going to, deteriorate on you and that kind of thing. So, or weather as far as that goes either. So that'd be kind of cool to replace some of them as well.
Yeah.
And the elk Skullmaster comes with 2 size base plates as well. So kind of a smaller and a larger, depending on the base of the antler. So a couple different options there. We call them universal systems, work on pretty much any size antler, whether it's an elk, a deer. The deer ones work on all kinds of deer too. So it could be a mule deer, blacktail, whitetail, whatever the case may be.
Coos.
It's all based on that antler base size. And so a lot of great universal products. And last but not least, we have some turkey products in that lineup. We kept the 2 core items and made a nice refresh to this Beardmaster, again, with the mossy oak bottomland. So you can hang 3 beards from that. It could be 2 legs in a beard. There's different ways to do it. And it's just a nice base plate, front cap, mossy oak bottomland, vinyl, nice matte finish. black accents, and looks really cool up on the wall. Again, under $25.
Yeah,
Can't
easy
beat
to
it.
use.
We all have a pile of
Yeah.
fans we're trying to figure out what to do with.
And if you can put some on your decoy, you can swap them out. I mean, you can have your best beards hanging there. It's cool.
And then the ultimate turkey plaque kind of follows along with the Skullmaster line, where it comes with a little turkey skull on the front. So that's pretty cool. And then the solid pine base, again, couple shotgun shell holders for the beards. This one, you can actually mount wings to it. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Wings, I did.
Spurs.
I mounted a Captain Hook on this one, kept the legs with those big spurs hanging off the side, and then just a nice, gorgeous, beautiful fan. So
They're very catching to your eye. When you see that display, you're like, oh wow, that's cool. And we got a lot of that feedback at the ATA show. So there's really nothing out there like that.
Yep, and you'll see these in a lot of big retailers. I know for sure the Bass Pros, Cabela's, Shields, they're going to be carrying these lines of products, the Skullmasters, the Beard Masters, Elk. So look for them in some of those bigger retailers. Some of the smaller shops are also carrying this new lineup with the new box packaging and window boxes. So, and it's always available online when we have them in stock. So this spring we'll be loading back up on inventory, and yeah, we're excited for the year ahead.
Yeah, on that point, once again, the popularity of this did really take off. And so we did run out of some of the SKUs in the Skullmaster. I think white, did we run out of, Jay?
Yeah, we ran out of white and the natural causes.
And the
for the
natural
most
causes
part.
both. But, I mean, we did make a good shipment out to some of these retailers like JJ's talking about. So check them. Check to see if they got the white and the natural causes. You might still be able to get those this year. But I'm sure they're going to go quick.
Yeah, so a lot of products, but that's fun. Like we love hunting. We love the educational part, calling in deer, the scent control, but, mounting the deer and the turkeys and the elk is a fun thing too, and getting them up on the wall, telling that story, decorating the office, decorating the conference room. It's all pretty fun. So we're excited about the new lineup, and we also have even more new stuff coming
we do.
in the
We do,
future.
we do.
But for now, that's plenty to add to the plate right now.
Yeah. Tons of new products, tons of new stuff for people that have always been familiar with Illusion, and those of you who aren't. There's a ton of new products out there. Pretty exciting. I'm a fan. I think some of obviously all of the products, again, that you guys develop, they work. They're tools that we can all use as hunters or displaying our trophies. Like they're cool things. But like I feel like this year more than ever, you've taken that brand to just another level of, I don't want to say just cool factor, but like everything looks really, really nice. It's that next level across the board that I think the brand has just elevated even another level. So that's a cool, exciting thing to see.
Well, I'm going to give the credit to the people to my left and to my right for exactly what you said, because all I do is just come up with some ideas and say, yeah or no, I do like it, I don't like it. And but when it comes to actual redesigning all this stuff, the ergonomics, JJ plays a huge role in that, Chris as well. But you guys on the marketing side and the informational side have elevated the brand as well. So I just want to thank you guys for that. And they play a huge part in that.
Well, lots of good stuff to come, and like JJ mentioned, and Mike, they're going to be spending a lot of time in front of the camera here in the coming months, just creating really good information and demonstrations on all of these products, and not just selling them, but like really standing behind them and helping you guys, as you've always done with the Extinguisher and the Black Rack, like helping you be successful with these tools in the field. So we have some fun stuff planned this spring, a lot of content rolling out behind these products. Yeah, so check them out. Feel free to reach out to us. Let us know your thoughts. And hopefully you get your hands on them. We'll keep you posted when they're in stock with you guys. Check your retailers, and look forward to more cool stuff rolling out in 2025. So thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Drop us a like, drop us some comments. What do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to hear more of in this podcast? Some exciting things coming with just the podcast this year, some different topics, some new guests, new looks, kind of across the board. Illusion, Deer Society, some new things coming. So we appreciate you listening, and good luck out there in the field.
The Deer Society podcast is brought to you by Illusion Hunting Systems. Onyx Hunt, Reveal cellular cameras, 10-point crossbows, Prime Archery, Loophole Optics, G5 broadheads, Osseo gear, Raw frozen scents, and HHA.